For this video here, I'm going to be telling you the 2 worst things to be inside a prison. One has whiskers, and the other one can't stand out of the sandbox. Check it out.
Hold down, man. Suitcase this, my cell phone, and my charger don't walk with a limp. You get it knocked off or missing, you gon' get it. Next time I see you ass, you gon' leave airlifted.
What's up, everybody? You already know, man. Kfrogtv back in the building. Y'all go ahead, man. Do me that solid favor. Hit that like and subscribe button, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see it first. Told y'all about a week ago that this video was coming, so I decided to drop it. For this one, I'm going to be letting y'all know what the 2 worst things to be inside a prison. All right? You know, when you're inside of the chain gang, it is a dangerous place for all people. But for the 2 type of people that I'm going to be talking about in this video, it's the worst. All right? And y'all already probably have a good idea of what type of people it is I'm speaking on. So let's go ahead and just put it out there. One thing you definitely do not want to be when you're inside of the chain gang is a chomo. All right? And the reason for that, it speaks for itself. You don't want to be one of them on the streets neither. You don't want to be one of them in life, period. You know, that is something that you would never, ever want to be. Literally. But in the chain gang, you know, when people find out what you're in there for, if they find out that you have some type of messed up charge like that, they will be on your ass like flies on shit. Literally, okay? You know when a dog takes a shit in the grass and then fucking less than 35 seconds later that shit swarmed with flies? Yeah, literally like that. You understand? And, you know, that is just some nasty shit that you want to, you know, ever want someone to find out about you. Now, don't get me wrong. People make it through prison, you know, without even being, you know, exposed to what they are. People make it through prison all the time, you know. They make it through their entire bid and without people knowing what they're truly in there for, okay? While I was in prison, you know, we had cell phones, you know, so we were able to look that shit up. We were able to walk by, look at your ID tag, and go right over there and look your ass up on the Florida DOC website. You know, we could find out what you're in there for. And me and my homeboys would be bored some days, and we decide, you know what, fuck it, that's what we're going to do, bro. We ain't doing shit else. We ain't got nothing to do on the phone. We done went up and down Instagram, Facebook, everything, wrote all of our females, got all of our money sent where we needed it to. Everything's in rotation like we need it, so we might as well kill some time. We're going to go ahead and look up all these people. And you'll literally find out some people that were actually cool individuals, you know, that you didn't even think of it, man. You've been in the dorm with these people for fucking 5-6 months, and, you know, people would try to steal from them or pick on them, and since it's an old man, you'd be like, man, y'all got old school fucked up, bro. And, you know, you'll stand up for them because they're an older person, and you'll make sure people ain't taking advantage of them, you know, because they're vulnerable and they're older, they're elderly. Then you'll look and you'll find out, damn, he's in here for this charge, but when you see he's already been to prison before, then you scroll down, his last bid was some chomo shit. So you're like, damn, bro. Once a chomo, always a chomo. So now he deserves everything that he's got going towards him. Everyone that goes to pick on him, if you could rewind time and make it to where you stood on the other side of the field with the people who were trying to pick on him, you would. You know? And that right there is just crazy. Like, to be someone inside a prison and you find that out about someone. You know, I seen gang members get flipped all the time because their brothers didn't know that they was, you know, they had messed up charges like that. You feel me? And once that shit comes to the light, it ain't safe for them at all. You know? And another thing that you don't want to be inside a prison, as well as on the streets also, is something with whiskers. You feel me? How you do it? Like this? You know, you don't want to be a rat. You do not want to be a rat, man. That is something that, I swear, boy, I'd rather be 6 feet deep, bro, than be labeled a rat. That's me personally, bro. Like, there's no way possible that someone would want to be that, you know? And that's why when people are in prison, they try so hard to hide it. But like I said, everything comes to the light eventually. It doesn't matter how hard you try to cover it up. The more you try to cover it up, the more it's going to most likely come out. And I've also seen gang members inside of prison being there 10 years, telling war stories and shit, that what they went through the whole 10 years they've been in there. They've been blooded their whole bid. They've been GD their whole bid, putting on for their shit the whole time. And then all of a sudden, 2-3 weeks down the line, you see their own kind chasing around the compound with bangers trying to wet them up. Come to find out, that boy told. If it wasn't on someone inside a prison, then it was, you know, someone on the streets. And then they just had a good way of hiding it. Because some people will tell on people and they'll try to get close with everyone before anyone else who would probably bring it to the light has a chance to even expose them. You see what I'm saying? And that's how a lot of people make it through prison. See, down here in the state of Florida, paperwork isn't checked. You know what I'm saying? They don't check paperwork. Some gangs might do their own little background check on people that are affiliated with them and stuff, but they're not checking paperwork. I not one time, my whole time locked up, had anybody say, hey bro, let me see your paperwork. That shit don't happen down here on the East Coast. So a lot of people can make it through their bid being someone that they're not, you understand? And that's why a lot of people who be getting in the shit these days in prison and on the streets, eventually it caught up with them. But that's why a lot of people who claim that there's something they're not goes such a long time without it finally coming out there. You know, now, to me, personally, my opinion, I feel like they should be housed somewhere else, you know? And I'm not saying for their protection. I'm not saying for their own good. They should have like a concentrated camp specifically for the two different genres. They should have the ones where all the whiskers hang out at. Then they should have the ones who can't stay out of the sandbox hang out at, you know? And they should literally be tortured. That's how I look at it. Because if you did something to a kid or something like that, boy, you ruined someone's life. You ruined that person's parents' life. You know, you ruin that kid's life. Even as he gets older, that shit's gonna haunt him. Anyone that he's a family member to, you know, you kind of left a tragedy mark in their mind. So you deserve, you know, to be punished for that. Going to prison isn't punishment, believe it or not. Yeah, you're away from your family, away from your loved ones, and yeah, it's dangerous and stuff. But shit, like as y'all can see, people make it through prison without even being exposed to who they truly are. You know, some of these people be, you know, having like high positions in gangs and shit like that, and then come to find out that's what this person is. You know, that just shows that there's ways around it. They're gonna, you know, side with that person who is one of theirs because they don't want to face the fact that one of theirs is sour and lives a foul life before they side with probably 100 people who are unaffiliated like me that bring it to the light. You feel me? If I were to expose someone that was a gang member or someone that's pushing a gang, 9 times out of 10, I'd still find myself in a violent situation through it all. Even if I just said, man, I know him from the streets, bro. That boy fuck with kids. Or I know him from the streets, bro. He told on my homeboys, this and that, this and that. They probably ain't even gonna do nothing to that dude, you know, unless you're respected. Because they hate, you know, to take it out on their own kind off of someone who doesn't have no position, rank, or say so whatsoever that ain't even in the organization. You know, that's why I said prison isn't that bad. These people should be sent somewhere else. They should be sent to a fucking severe, concentrated camp where they get put down on, where they cannot enjoy life. You understand? Where they fucking take fire baths. You know, like 3 times a week on shower day, they put you in there with steaming water for 5 minutes or something. Take the skin off you. You should be treated different than actual regular prisoners. You know, because it doesn't matter if you're in there for some whisker shit, or you're in there for some shit with the sandbox, or if you're in there for pulling a gun out on someone, or if you're in there for a fist fight, driving with a suspended license, violation of probation, dirty urine, getting in a fight with a female. It don't matter what it is, you will all be placed in the same spot down here in the state of Florida. You get what I'm saying? And to me, them are the 2 things you never want to be, bro, in this life. Your lifetime, bro. You would never ever want to be any of those type of things. You know, that's why me personally, I feel like there should be a totally different punishment for them. Because, you know, like I said, when it came to the, you know, the chomos shit, you ruined someone's life, bro. That shit's tragic. They'll remember that for the rest of their life. You know, that's something that they're gonna have probably flashbacks and nightmares and the sweats in their sleep, wake up, you know, they're gonna have flashbacks and stuff like that. No matter how young they were, you feel me, they're still gonna be like that. And when it comes to being a rat, you told on someone, had someone arrested, you know, you got someone in trouble. You took freedom from someone, okay? That's what a rat is. When you take freedom from someone, when you get someone arrested and they get brought into custody for something you said, you ratted. You feel me? So it's like you're ruining that person's life. But at the same time, if you committed a crime with that person and you got caught and then you told on them, that's still a piece of shit rat move also, because it's like y'all were in it together. So you already know the code. You feel me? We're in it together. If you're man enough to do the damn crime, you should be man enough to do the time. You know what I'm saying? If you signed up to go kick them doors in or rob people's houses or to get in that shooting or whatever may take place, so do them people that are in that car with you. But at the same time, out of everyone that's in that car, not everyone's going to be 100. People can't hold their water. So when you do get caught and you get jammed up with these people, that's when you find out who's real, who's 100, who's solid, who's got fucking Kool-Aid in their system, who truly ain't about that shit. And at the end of the day, it's just time. You know, and I said this before in many videos. It don't matter where you're at, in confinement, the compound, the streets, a rehab, fucking work release, juvenile program, a detention center, school, college, the military. No matter where you are, time moves at the same speed. It's just on what you're doing to get your mind off of it that makes it feel like it's moving quicker. You see what I'm saying? 12 hours doesn't go by any faster anywhere else. It all is the same 12 hours. It's just on what you're doing to get your mind off that time. So when you commit a crime with someone, you got to keep that shit solid on your end. If not, boy, you got whiskers for life. That's how I look at it. And anytime that I see you, or anytime, you know, no matter what it is, if I seen you in public somewhere, if I seen your ass on Instagram, if I seen you on TV acting in a movie, every time I look at you, bro, there's going to be imaginary whiskers there. And that's just me personally. That's how I look at it. Because you ruined someone's life. You told on someone. And then depending on how it is, you know, a lot of people that do the telling shit on people, they feel like as long as they tell their side of the story first, you know, that people will believe them. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's why when people go to prison, they'll tell everybody about their case and their charge and make it seem like, oh yeah, my co-defendant told on me and did this and da, to where everyone's like, damn, that's crazy. Now word goes around the compound that this person was told on by their co-defendant. When all reality, you don't know that that co-defendant's at a whole nother camp and he just ain't telling nobody that the other dude told on him. He's keeping his mouth closed. But really, the other person who told's selling wolf tickets, you know, and then spreading it to make it seem like his co-defendant told on him. And then a lot of times they don't put the name out there of who the co-defendant was that so-called told on them because that's who they told on. And if someone in prison finds him at another camp and ends up, you know, chopping it up with him, they might find out the real story if they put the real name out there. You see what I'm saying? And it's crazy because a lot of people, like I said, do go through prison without being exposed. Literally will go through prison and be in there a long time. I've seen some people that are heavy hitters, people that were literally airlifting people, putting in that work behind their nation. You know, literally had the tattoos all on them and all. You would have been like, oh yeah, he's a real one. He's a real gangster. He literally rocks out behind his nation and he's rocking out behind what he stands for. Next thing you know, he's going to war with his own brothers. Come to find out he was a tattletale. I'm like, damn. And then once you see his brothers wet him all up and all that shit and get him off the compound, you're like, that's crazy, bro, because he was a real one for the 2 years that I seen him here putting in work behind that same nation, rocking out behind the same people that were now trying to eat him. You see? And then gangs don't just attack their own kind. You know, they investigate first. They want to basically prove that they are what they are before they decide to go at them. And then what a lot of them do is they'll put a hit on their own kind, and then they'll just turn their head when it happens. You know, they won't want to man up and take their own kind out. They'll turn their head when a different gang wets them out of nowhere. And then when that person's in confinement, waiting for his brothers to retaliate, now he finds out his brothers ain't rocking with him, that they was involved in it. You see? And then you got the other ones, the other type of gangs that don't want any other organization having that trophy on their line, like on their shelf, as far as they got to eat that gang member for free. When it's like a trophy. So some gangs will be like, nah, we'll get him ourselves. We'll wet him ourselves. He's one of ours. We'll handle him. We'll take care of it. And then you got some that make it through their whole bid and literally come home. Come home and ain't shit but an undercover chomo or a rat still to this day. You feel me? And then you got ones that things happen to in prison. You feel me? Check this out. You got ones that things happen to in prison to where when they come home, they're not banging no more. They just fell back and made it seem like they're not, you know, they're not in that gang no more. They don't fuck with that gang no more. You know, they don't rep it no more. They want to change their life. And in reality, something bad had happened to them when they was in there. Their own kind got a hold of them for something. You know, might have found out that they were telling before, and then they all decided to wet him and put a hit on him every camp he went to. So everywhere he went, his own kind was after him. You know, so now he comes home and he acts like he just didn't want to be in the gang no more. But in all reality, he had no choice, but he couldn't be in the gang no more because they found out the truth about him. You see what I'm saying? And it's crazy because when people tell that are in gangs, at the end of the day, you know, someone had to bring them home. You know, someone had to be their big homie, their head. You feel me? That's who I feel like it should be brought up with. It should be taken to that person. You feel me? Because at the end of the day, that was your drop, or that was your godson, or whatever y'all call him. That he was up under you. You feel me? So if anyone needed to check that paperwork before all the years went by and all the time happened to go through of that person with your brand on them and them claiming that shit, then the big homie should have been the one that checked the paperwork. That's how I look at it. You know, because if that was the case, if they straightened up on the paperwork check, even not for gang members, if they check paperwork down here in the state of Florida prison, people come in, they start checking paperwork, making sure people have paperwork on hand to show, then a lot of that shit would be different. But it isn't like that. You know, down here, you're like a chicken with your head cut off and they just throw you in the chain gang and you do whatever you want to do, wander around how you want to. You could be anybody you want to be in prison. Like I said before, the word jail. Just ask, I'll lie, and just another inmate lying. That's all it is. They're going to be whatever they want to be, tell you whatever they want to tell you. They may tell you a totally different story of why they're actually in there, just so you don't catch on to what truly happened. You'll be like, damn, what you mean, bro? I thought you got locked up for a robbery. Some female helped you set some dude up or something like that. Next thing you know, boom, we're finding out that you broke into someone's house or whatever, but then you told on your co-defendant when he was the one that did the, you know, like all that shit ends up coming out. And what it is people go off of popularity a lot. All right, this is the best way I can break it down. People go off of popularity, which means it don't matter if you was someone that wanted to stay out the sandbox or you had whiskers, okay? They're gonna go off of your popularity and probably not even address you about it, probably not even mention it to you, not even mention that they heard it. They're gonna go with what they feel like there's no way possible it could be that. There's no way he could be one of those. There's no way he did that shit. They're gonna go off of because you got more so-called respect and fan base and people who know you and people that seem like they're cool with you to where, oh, there's no way possible this can be true. And that shit can be true. Straight up, I don't care if 95% of the world fucked with you. If you have messed up paperwork, bitch, it could still be true. You understand? That's, you know, but a lot of people, they overlook that. They look at it like, oh, well, he's good in that hood, that hood, that hood, that hood. Or he's been to prison, and he's good in that dorm, that dorm, that dorm, and that dorm. So there's no way it could be true because then someone would have been got him. If he had bad paperwork from fucking being, you know, addicted to the sandbox, then it would have been popped up. After all the time he's been in prison, or after all the time he did time locked up, there's no way he could have had whiskers. Someone else would have called him out about it. Or no, he had co-defendants. He's the only one that went to prison, not his co-defendant. So there's no way he was the one that told. His co-defendants had to be telling. That ain't true if someone had severe priors. If someone was already facing 25 years for something, but then they got off with a 10-piece, a 5-piece, or whatever it is, and their co-defendants got a slap on the wrist. They'd never been arrested before. Or even if they'd been arrested before, they didn't have that many priors, or their priors were longer ago. So, you know, because down here in the state of Florida, they got PRR. So when you catch a charge, when you come home from prison, if they hit you with PRR, then your max is your minimum. So if it's a charge that carries 25 years maximum, then they're only offering you 25 minimum mandatory, no gain time. You feel me? So if you get PRR and you got numerous charges, 25 burglaries or something like that, and then you get PRR, boy, you're facing 20 years. You get off with a little 6-piece, but all your other ones, you know, all your co-defendants, they all got off. You know, oh, what? It looks like that person was in the clear, right? Why? Because he's the only one that went to prison. The other ones didn't go to prison? Nah. You was facing 25 years, though. See? You got to be careful. You never know. You feel me? When people end up on the streets that been to prison, or whether they land in prison from the streets, you never know who's who. And like I said, the two worst things to be inside of prison, which you definitely better hope and pray that they never find out, is a person with whiskers and a person who's in love with the sandbox. You never want to be any one of those two, because if they find out, boy, they coming. And like I said, it don't matter how much work you put in with your organization. It don't matter how much respect you had for everybody. How much respect you had from everybody. It don't matter any of that shit. Literally, they find out who you are, they are coming and they're going to get you off that compound, and word's going to travel. That shit's going to be traveling along on the bus with you. When you get put on that bus and get transferred, there's people on there that know your ass was wet up and flipped. You feel me? You're now getting transferred because you were a tattleteller or because you had a bad charge, you know? And then wherever you go, that shit's going to spread. It's going to spread. When you go somewhere, there's going to be somebody there that knows what happened to you, knows your situation, even if they don't know you personally. They're going to see that shit and be like, damn, that shit's crazy, bro. Word travels straight up. And I don't know if, you know, they don't check the paperwork down here in Florida, you know, because, you know, they want to find out themselves and let someone be fucking the person they're not, and then they get hit up, or I have no idea. But like I said, the two worst things to be when you are incarcerated are those two things right there. Even the sissies don't have it that bad. You can't say, oh, sissy's a bad thing to be too. Which, yeah, it is coming from someone who ain't a sissy. But at the same time, them sissies ain't in there living like what them two type of people would live through. Let someone find out you're a sissy, or find out you're a fucking person with whiskers, or someone that's in love with a sandbox. Who you think's gonna get it the worst? It's gonna go the person with the sandbox, then the person with whiskers, and then maybe the sissy. But there's actually sissies in prison that are living luxury, that are loving life, no problems or no cares in the world, and people are literally standing up with knives to back them. You feel what I'm saying? Meanwhile, there ain't no one standing up with knives behind them other two types of people. You feel me? Only if they don't know who they are. If they made it through their whole bid being someone they're not, telling lies, you know? And the way that they'll tell lies is they'll not only either they're gonna cover it up to the fullest and make it to where you have no sense of direction to find out the truth, or they're not gonna speak on it at all. They're going to tell you a totally different story, or they're going to tell you something like it, so it's kind of close to telling you the truth, but they're going to leave them little pieces out. And when they leave them little pieces out, they'll try to get you to agree with what they're saying and make you see it from their point of view. And then you'll be like, oh yeah, hell yeah, you know what I'm saying? To where it don't sound that bad because they're telling you. So since they're telling you, you're not going to expect no one to tell you the truth about them like that if it is what they are. So what they're telling you, is it going to be the whole truth? There's going to be just a little bit of tweak to it. They're going to tweak it a little bit. You feel me? Instead of them going that way with the story, they're going to go like that. They're going to keep going like that and then curve on you. And you're not going to know where it came. You don't know if in the beginning he threw the curveball, the middle, the end, if the whole first quarter was a curveball, or if the ending right at the very end was a curve. You're not going to really know. But then when you hear that he's telling, or that he's did some shit with a sandbox from other people, you're not going to pay attention to it. It's going to go in one ear and out the other, because you're going to feel like that person that's telling you it's a lie because such and such told you already. And what they said was something like that. So they got it kind of right, but they got their story wrong. In all reality, that person was covering that shit up from the get-go. Straight up. Y'all heard it from me. Them are the two worst things to be inside a prison and even on the streets. Told y'all I was going to make this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button on your way out if you ain't hit it on the way in. And I'm going to see y'all next time. Keep them rats, squares, clowns, snakes, chomos, pamper sniffers, whisker having, little turd shitting ass people out your circle. Until next time, this Frog.